But let's talk about LA Knight. He is officially, not officially, but presumably, the number one contender for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at Crown Jewel, beating Solo Sikoa by pinfall on Friday's SmackDown, being only one of 3 people to do it on the main roster, Cody being the first, right before WrestleMania, Jey Uso being the second, right before SummerSlam a couple of months ago, and now LA Knight. Albeit not clean, but still, he beat him. An impressive feat, nonetheless. He's on his way and white hot right now to Crown Jewel to challenge for the championship. So he's obviously not winning, but your thoughts about them moving right into this match right now, because we just talked about last week, I would probably wait until the Rumble or maybe even Survivor Series. They're jumping into it right now. I thought AJ Styles would come back on the show and we would get Roman and AJ on that show, but it sounds like they're saving AJ, or rather Roman and AJ, probably for Survivor Series. I had seen, I think yesterday, that AJ's being advertised for that post-Crown Jewel edition of SmackDown, so that would seem to make sense. But, your thoughts on LA Knight being moved into that role right now for the Undisputed Championship at Crown Jewel?
Yeah, I was honestly pretty shocked. We talked about it last week. I just felt like I saw reports and it seemed like the direction they're going and was Cena first, but seemingly we're going to get him and Roman and Knight at Crown Jewel. I don't know if I like it or hate it. I don't know if they're just... Because I just feel like once you lose the Roman, it's like, then what do you do with them? Yeah. I just feel like, also, if you do it now and he's in the Rumble and doesn't win, people are going to be pissed, which, I guess he could win. I don't think I wouldn't say he's my betting favorite to win right now, but I don't know. It's kind of weird, but, maybe they're trying to, really get on his popularity. He's fucking way hot now. I don't think it's going to fall off in 3 months, but I think that's the only thing I could think of that comes to my head, that's why they do it right now. Just maybe he's so hot right now they want to capitalize on it, but I just also don't think he's going to fall off like a cliff in 3 months. So we'll see. Like you said, I don't think there's really any chance for him to win here, but it's interesting. Like I said, I guess I would say that's what I'd come out of it. It's just very interesting because I feel like I would have waited, but they're seemingly going right into it.
Listen, we've talked about it as far as doing it at the Rumble would make the most sense, just because for the exact reason that you mentioned. If he's in the Rumble match, then he's going to be the fan favorite to win the entire thing on the babyface side. But if he's challenging Roman Reigns on that show for the championship, then people won't get their hopes up for him winning the Royal Rumble. The exact same scenario, albeit a little bit different, with Sami Zayn earlier this year. Everyone wanted him to win that match and go on to face Roman at WrestleMania. That was never going to happen. It was always going to be Cody Rhodes. But they dodged that bullet by people booing Cody when he won by not even putting Sami in it. And it's not like he wasn't even on the show. He was involved in the Roman Reigns main event against Kevin Owens for the championship. So it made sense, and they closed out the show on a great note with Sami Zayn setting up his title match for Elimination Chamber in Montreal as opposed to WrestleMania. So they could have avoided that whole LA Knight inevitable debacle at the Royal Rumble by just having him face Roman there. Could they do a rematch with him there? Sure, but having him lose twice to Roman probably isn't ideal. I don't want to see a non-finish at Crown Jewel. So, I don't know what they do with him in the interim when he loses, at Crown Jewel, because he's not beating Roman Reigns. But I do have a slight idea. I tweeted this, I think, right after SmackDown, and I've been sitting on this for a couple days. What are your thoughts on the possibility, and again, the timing doesn't really work out because Mania is not for another 6 months. I don't know how they're going to bridge the gap. But I do think Logan Paul, he's going to be on SmackDown on this Friday, and also on Raw next week. But on SmackDown, we know he's, confronting Rey Mysterio, who's responding to Logan's challenge after winning his fight last week. So that's probably the match for Crown Jewel, presumably for the United States Championship. Why wouldn't it be? Because Logan Paul says he wants that title. I think Logan Paul's winning that championship. He said in an interview earlier this year when he re-signed with WWE that he wants gold. I don't think it's going to be the World Championship. I don't think it should be the World Championship. Logan Paul is great, but if he's going to be a part-timer, it probably should be a mid-card title. Now, what I don't like about that is that it would take him away from SmackDown at a time where we also don't have a World Champion, full-time either, with Roman Reigns still being champion, probably until Mania. But I do think Logan Paul takes the title. I could see LA Knight being the one to dethrone him, probably at WrestleMania. I'm surprised they haven't done Logan Paul versus LA Knight already. After their interactions going into Money in the Bank, at Money in the Bank, they never really followed up on that, and I think the reason being is that they want to save that for like a Mania, and that's a big spot for LA Knight to be in. Get a singles match at Mania. If it's not for the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship, he can challenge for the U.S. title and win it there, his first singles title on the main roster. So your thoughts on LA Knight's road to WrestleMania and that being a potential option, and also your thoughts just in general on Logan Paul challenging for the United States Championship at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I like that idea. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly how you bridge the gap. I mean, we still have to see what's happening with the bloodline. Maybe if they do the War Games at Survivor Series. He's stuck in that, and we kind of get towards the Rumble. Maybe LNA costs him. I don't know. You get somewhere. You find it out. I don't think I'm worried about that. I do think that's a good match. You said if it's not going for the main title, I think that'd be like a nice spot for him. Win gold there and finally kind of cement his singles run because he's over, but, I mean, he's got nothing to show for it. So I feel like the title could kind of solidify that he's the top player and kind of move towards a world title, WWE Universe, or whatever the hell you want to call it, in 2024. So, no, I like that idea. With Paul, like you said, I think it's a good idea for him to win mid-card belt, but like you said, specifically for SmackDown, don't overly love it, because then if he's champion, I don't see him going to Corpus Christi on a random Friday night in November. So I think then it would be kind of a sucky experience, because then you'd have both main singles titles gone from SmackDown on a weekly basis. I mean, maybe we get more emphasis on the women, maybe the tag team division, but I would say ideally that's not ideal.
Yeah, no, and listen, on the bright side, I mean, just weighing the pros and cons between what you mentioned, what I mentioned, I think the match between him and Rey is going to be great, too. That's a fresh match, and I know they talked about the possibility of them facing off when Rey was on his podcast earlier this year. I think that'll be a great match. What I also don't really like about it is that I've always envisioned Santos Escobar being the one to dethrone Rey Mysterio as champion. They had their match a couple of weeks ago, and Rey won. But the way Santos sold that loss made you think, all right, this guy's going to be coming for a rematch, turning heel at some point. I could see a scenario where Santos maybe is the one to cost Rey Mysterio that championship, or maybe cost him the rematch, and they have their feud, just not over the United States Championship.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think you could do something that, like, even if he doesn't cost him the belt, like, he's just mad that he didn't give him the rematch, and he got it, like, he gave it to Logan first. I don't know. I feel like you could do something like that. I mean, I think Santos going heel is obviously where this is going. I like him a lot better as a heel anyway, so I hope that's the direction they're going in, but I don't think it has to specifically be over the United States Championship. But it probably definitely would help. I feel like even with the kind of branding of the LWO, it definitely hasn't helped. I think it's helped Zelina the most out of everyone. Even I would even say over Rey. Like, Rey doesn't need it. Like, I feel like Del Toro and Wild, even Escobar, I feel like the fans could, like, clearly give a rat's ass when they hear the LWO music. With Zelina specifically, I feel like it's helped her tremendously. So I think the title would probably help people care a little bit more, just because I think even with the branding, it hasn't helped Santos too much. But I think if he cost Rey, people would still kind of get into it. So I think it doesn't have to be for the title, but it probably would help.
You can have an LWO Civil War with Carlito having to choose a side or something like that.
Anything's possible, pal.
Hey, listen, Rey and Carlito team against, Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro and Santos or whatever it might be. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Just an option.